What's new, 802? I'm Becca Hammond, and you're listening to Vermont Talks. Vermont Talks may include graphic or explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. On this week's episode of Vermont Talks, we have Meghan Burke. Meghan is a local musician. She plays guitar, she sings, and she plays mandolin. She's got her own solo project called Snow Day. Snow Day released its first EP earlier this year. Meghan's also in the local band, The Silent Mile. Thanks so much for being on the show, Meghan. Let's get started. Meghan, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Tell me, what is your full name and what bands do you play in?
My full name is Meghan Elizabeth Burke, and I play in a pop-punk emo band called The Silent Mile, and I also have a solo folk-punk project called Snow Day.
Awesome possum. What do you play in these bands?
I play lead guitar, some rhythm guitar in The Silent Mile, and then I play guitar and sing in Snow Day.
Nice. Do you play any other instruments?
I dabble in mandolin.
That's what I was going to say. I thought you played mandolin,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be like, don't you play that?
I know like 7, 8 chords on mandolin.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
You just need 3 and you're good. You know twice as many chords as you need.
Yeah, I can play in like 3 different keys. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
I mean, who needs... You know, I'm pretty sure... What band am I thinking of? The Offspring. I'm pretty sure they never play in any other key than that one key that all their songs are in.
Oh,
So...
that's a fun fact.
Have you ever listened... We're going off on a tangent immediately. Have you ever listened to all of their most popular songs?
Not all together.
They almost all follow the exact same sort of pattern, just the same way that Britney Spears songs do. Okay, so The Silent Mile. How long have you been in that band?
Almost a year now. I think I started playing with them last December. A year ago, I went on tour with them, but I was in Snow Day, and I opened for them at the shows they were playing on tour.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
We went mostly around New England. We played Connecticut, Massachusetts. We did go to Brooklyn, New York, which was cool. Vermont, obviously. I think we did like Burlington. I can't even remember now. It was like Burlington,
Rutland?
Brooklyn, Worcester, Attleboro.
Worcester.
Yeah.
That's quite the town.
Yeah, my sister was living there at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a hardcore place. I don't think I've ever seen such an expanse of empty factories. These factories were like bigger than you could see with your eye. And they were all empty with broken windows and spray paint. And that is all I remember from Worcester. I went and looked at WPI when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And
That's where she went.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I got in here. This is awesome. And then I was like, I am scared. And I came back to Vermont and I was like, okay, well, that was fun.
Yeah, my friend, he's the singer in The Silent Mile, Hunter. We were looking for a place to eat that was still open. And we end up going to this restaurant, and some college girl is like throwing up outside of it. And we go in. I think we have like chicken tenders or something. And as we're leaving, we see a mouse run across the floor.
Oh, no.
And I get back to my sister's place, and we told her where we went. And she's like, oh, that's the fancy restaurant.
That was it. I actually took pictures when I went down there because it was like accepted students day. And I brought a camera to take pictures of the campus. And the only things I took pictures of were all the empty pizza joints because I couldn't believe they were on every single corner. And like you said, they're all empty. Like nothing's actually open there. Which, I don't know if it's changed. When did you guys go down there? You said just last year?
Last November, and then maybe that summer they were also playing a show, and I went to hang out with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So have you don't do any writing in The Silent Mile, do you?
Not lyrics. Usually when I write lyrics, those songs end up going to Snow Day, but we've been writing new songs, and I've been writing a lot of the guitar riffs and the guitar parts for those.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So you're involved in the music side, the composition, not the lyric side.
Yeah.
cool. So, and I apologize, I don't think you said this yet. Who else was in the band? I know you mentioned Hunter's name.
Yeah, so Hunter sings and plays guitar. Conrad plays... I don't know why I'm saying because obviously he plays bass and he sings as well.
Obviously, I didn't know he played bass. I just want to say Conrad is like the coolest name. Yeah. Cool on you, Conrad.
Yeah. And then our drummer Tyler, and he lives in Rutland, so.
Oh, he's down there.
Yeah.
He's down in the zone. I've been to Rutland like twice in my life.
Until last summer, well, not this past summer, but like 2019. I lived in Vermont my whole life, and I hadn't been there at all. And now I go like every other week. So.
It's weird, isn't it? When the first time I went down to Rutland, I was like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff down here.
Yeah.
Usually
they've got Taco Bell.
Oh, is there really a Taco Bell down there?
They do have one. Oh. Unlike the city of Burlington.
Yeah. St. Albans has a Taco Bell. And I lived in St. Albans for a long enough time that I know that I don't eat at that Taco Bell. But I feel bad because people from Burlington drive up to the Taco Bell up there. I bet they go to the one in Rutland, too.
Yeah. I actually have a song about going to Rutland to go to Taco Bell.
I remember this. Okay. Explain the song. How did it happen?
So after I joined the Silent Mile, I was going to Rutland like every other week. And I'm really into this band called the Mountain Goats. And I was listening to one of their songs, Going to Georgia. And they have a whole series of songs like Going to Bristol, Going to Georgia, Going to Maine. There's like a whole series of that.
Where they go places.
Yeah. So I was like, I should write a song called Going to Rutland, since that was what I was going to be doing that weekend. So I wrote it in about an hour, and while I was writing it, I was like writing it as a love song, and then I was like, I should put a twist in the end where I go to Taco Bell. So the whole song, it sounds like a love song, but then at the end, it's really just about eating tacos.
Hey, that's a love affair for some people.
Yeah.
I could totally write a song about eating food. I've thought about it. I've written like half songs about making coffee and tea because I really like coffee and tea.
I feel like that's legit. I think a number of bands do that.
I think so. I'm bringing up Metalocalypse because they're freaking hilarious. I don't know if you ever watched Metalocalypse.
I might have watched an episode or
it's so old now that it's kind of like fallen out of, people don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But the very first episode, because they're supposed to be this massive metal band that the whole world's just, obsessed with, kind of like Metallica, only to like the upteenth degree. Mm-hmm. And they sell out a concert to like 500,000 people that is 30 seconds long, and it's a coffee ad. And it just makes and it's literally just an ad for like Starbucks coffee.
Wow.
And all these people go to like the Arctic Circle because it's supposed to be up in like Finland or something, where they're really into metal. And they just like dropped this huge cube on the crowd, and it was the stage, and it just opened up and smushed everybody, and they dumped a bunch of hot coffee on them. And so yeah, it's legit. We can write all sorts of things about coffee.
Oh yeah.
And tacos. Oh, tacos are good. Now I want tacos. Okay, so you said you lived in Burlington, or not Burlington. You've lived in Vermont. Sorry, back up. Vermont, your whole life. Are you from this area?
Well, actually, I was born in South Carolina.
Okay, so that little bit of your life, not here.
Yeah. Lived in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And then in second grade, we moved to Essex, Vermont, and that's where I grew up.
Right, yeah. So second grade, you're like 7.
Yeah, 7 or 8, yeah.
I don't remember much of my life before 7. Things were like fuzzy back then.
I get like flashbacks, but...
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a Vermonter. You can say that. You've been here long enough.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll go with that.
If you came here before you were 10 and you stayed here for the rest of your life, you're probably a Vermonter. Plus, that's how our state works anyway. We take in everybody who wants to be a Vermonter. We're happy to have you. That's how it works. We're not hating on people. Just don't act like a Flatlander. You gotta act like a Vermonter, or we'll call you out on it in certain areas. Maybe not Burlington, but there's some really funny articles about a dump owner in the Northeast Kingdom, and he's really mad because a whole bunch of people from out of state, I think they doubled the population of one of these towns like over the last 6 months, and he's really mad because they keep mixing their cardboard with their plastic.
Oh, yeah.
It was really funny. I don't know. It's weird coming from rural Vermont into not rural Vermont because we have such a weird swing of people in this state. But everyone's really, for the most part, most people are really respectful and loving. And,
Yeah.
you know, I respect my neighbor even if I don't get along with them. We're chill. I can't say that about everywhere, but for the most part. Shows. Tell me about the Silent Mile shows. What did you get to play? Where did you get to play, I should say?
Oh, man. It's like sad thinking about shows now because we haven't done any in so long. As I said, we did that tour. We played at Monkey House a ton before COVID. At the beginning of this year, we were playing on the first of like every year. We didn't like have a residency. It just happened that on the first of every month, we happened to have a show there, which is kind of funny. Played there January 1st, February 1st, and March 1st. And then quarantine happened.
Oh, it's so sad. Well, I'm glad you said that you guys are getting to play together again, which is awesome.
We've been practicing, working on writing some new stuff, which is good.
Nice, cool. So are you guys, and forgive me, I feel like I might be forgetting something. You released your EP in May? Was it in May? For Snow Day?
I think it was in May. I think it was like May 14th or something around then.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because we had just started talking and we're like, I don't know. I'm going to release it, but I don't really want to because of COVID. You were kind of holding back.
Well, the shows, I think I was planning shows. I had a show in Rutland, a show in Burlington. I was trying to get one in Massachusetts and do like a long weekend promoting it. And they got canceled. And I was like thinking, well, maybe I can postpone them till June. And then that didn't happen.
Oh, what a cruddy year it's been. I miss concerts so much. And I know we're all missing concerts. At least we can all revel in the fact that we're all in it together. We're all sad and we all miss concerts.
Yeah.
And we're all just waiting for them to come back. Because I feel like and I know this is, and I'm not saying this is going to happen in 6 months, but when it's okay, when we're finally given the okay and you can go to concerts again and you can take your mask off and you can breathe in a public place with other people, it's gonna be so nice, isn't it? Like, I'm just so ready for those shows.
Yeah. I had so many shows this year that, like, playing, but also just shows I was going to see that got canceled. I was supposed to see, I was calling it the Mega Hella Washed Up Tour, because it was, like, Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Weezer, which I love. I love those bands, but they're definitely...
They're from when we
past
were,
their
I was going to say, they're like when we were kids. And even then, people had attitude about them.
Yeah.
Like, because 2000, like, I graduated in 2011. And by that time, Blink-182 was a cliche. And so was Green Day. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, you're totally, I don't know, they're just kind of, you weren't really punk or you weren't really a rocker if you listened to Blink-182. I love Blink-182. I think they're awesome. I think they're funny now. Listening to like their new stuff is really funny to me because they were so much older than I was. And they're still singing about stuff like teenage stuff, which is really funny because I don't know how old you are, guys, but you sure aren't teenagers anymore. You're like 10, 15 years older than I am.
Yeah, they're like in their 40s now.
Yeah, they've got to be in their mid-40s. I'm almost 30. I feel old. Like, how can you be singing about teenage problems? And it's great, because, like, what would Blink-182 be if they sang about 45-year-old problems? Like, what would they complain about? Like, I'm get stuck in traffic. And like, it would be really hilarious. They should make some 45-year-old problem songs.
Yeah.
They're that nasally complaining teenage, and it just feels so good. I love singing those songs. Like, it feels so good to get that feeling out. But man, they're like you said, they're not fresh. The expiration date on those guys might be a little old.
Yeah.
It's like when you find a can in the store and it's like 2 years past, but it's on the shelf. I've done that before. Like, do you buy it anyway? Where have you played your most favorite show ever? And what the heck happened that made it your most favorite show ever?
Oh, man.
Any band, anytime. You could have been 12 playing at your school concert.
I've got to take a minute to think.
Oh, that's fine.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot. I played a wedding once, and that was a good experience, and I'm really proud of myself for doing it, but it's so stressful trying to learn the song and get, like, there are two different parts. There's like a rhythm part and a melody part I had to learn, and I took lessons for like 6 months just working on that one song.
Oh gosh, and like this one thing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was great. I had a lot of fun, but I don't know if I'd ever do something like that again.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really stressful. Like I love playing music, but the older I get, I think I developed social anxiety after high school.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I used to go and play out, and then I hit, like, 20, and I'm like, like, I can't believe I used to, like, go to bars and play out when I was, like, 16. Like, I should not have been in these bars, but now it's, like, stressful. I freak out about it so much more, and that formal music makes it so much scarier. Like, I like playing punk and stuff. I can still play kind of in front of people if I'm not, counting. I can't count in front of people anymore. I start counting faster. Like with bass, I got like punk, you can just kind of feel it.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting there like 1 endy and a 2 and a, like.
Yeah.
I love music, but oof, man, that's stressful. This is what I could never have done it professionally. Like, because I was very much considering, like, I'm going to go to school and do music as a career. And I'm so glad I didn't do that now because I don't think I would like it the same anymore. I bet I would be real uptight and really not fun.
It's nice being able to work on it without the pressure that, like, this is something you have to do to make a living.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. And it's so hard to make a living that I feel like a lot of people are fabulous musicians and they have all of this talent and creativity, and they end up going into a weird niche in music so they can make a living. Mm-hmm. And it's not quite what they expect it to be, and it's just not like helping them grow as a musician. It's making a living. It's like making that bottom line. Mm-hmm. Because, I don't know, a lot of people go into, like, audio engineering and that sort of thing. And that's what I was looking at. And I'm like, if I had done that, I would be listening to horrible pop music every day that I probably hated and telling people that I didn't think were talented that you sound so good right now. Let's just do another take. And, like, I don't know if I could do it. I think I would hate it. I don't know. Did you... Tell me about your school career. Let's go through wait. Back up. Sorry.
Question I was thinking about.
Oh, God.
Best show.
I do that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the best show.
I did think about it, yeah. There's a couple answers for that. One, when I was like a freshman in college, my band at the time, they were like my high school band, we opened for New Politics at Higher Ground, and that was very exciting. We got like our own green room, and David and Soren like talked to us.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that was cool. But definitely the best shows I've ever played and ever been to were the house shows at Tyler Jackson's house in Rutland. He's my drummer in the Silent Mile, and he's had a number of them there, and they're just always so much fun. Such high energy. He gets fantastic bands to play. And just everyone who goes there, all his friends and stuff, they're just so nice and so supportive of the music. Like, everyone I've met from Rutland has just been incredible. So
that's cool. That's great. Are they a little more... I'm trying to think what that would be like, because they're a little less congested than Burlington. Can you be a little louder and worry a little less?
Yeah, I mean, they have like a house. It's not an apartment with a bunch of other people living in the same building.
Right,
so.
And they're probably more than 6 feet apart, because there's places in the North End where you can like reach out and shake hands with your neighbor.
Yeah, he's had like metal shows there. He's had punk shows, and
nice.
I don't think he's ever had a problem.
How in the heck? Because I feel like I got into making this podcast right before the stupid pandemic hit. And I was getting stoked. I was going to go to house shows. I've never been to a real house show. I've obviously seen people play at like a house party. But that's not the same as these house shows. Because a lot of times a house party's like people spilling out of the house and the band's playing on the lawn. Mm-hmm. I want to go to a basement show.
Yeah.
Like, what? How does this work? Like, I don't understand it. They're just like, come to this show, this band's going to play, and we're going to let 25 people into the basement until it fills up, and that's it. Like, how does this work?
I mean, I'm sure legally they have a capacity, but I don't think anyone's counting. I also feel like a lot of basement shows don't usually get to that capacity. But there's a lot of good places around here I've played. There's Jim's Basement, of course, Gloom Garden. Used to be a place called Rat House. I don't know if they're still doing
I think
shows.
Rat House got... The UVM kids told me about Rat House, and they said that it got closed down. It's funny I know that because I know so little about this stuff, but...
I played a show at Rat House, and my band got there, like, when we were supposed to load in. No one was there, including the people who lived at Rat House. And we're like, well, we think this is the right address. And we go in, and no one's home. And we, like, go into the basement, and there's, like, PA system set up. And we're like, this is probably the place.
Just start unloading and hope that this is right.
Well, that's what we did. And then we were just sitting on the front lawn, and this other guy walks up. He's like, hey, do you guys live here? And we're like, no, we were kind of hoping you were the guy who lived here. He's like, oh, if no one shows up, we can just play for each other. We're like, that's perfect.
See, that's great. That's kind of what I imagined the shows were like. They're just kind of loose, relaxed, just people playing music. And I've heard some really great stories about different places, like rural places where these kind of music, they're not really a basement show. They're more like a collaboration of like all the musicians show up. It's like a basement show where everyone's a musician in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. And they're just like jamming, and that's like what they do, and it's not an organized thing, but
like kind of more of an open mic jam session
kinda
type thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of like funk, not funk, I'm gonna have to cut that. Folk. It's a lot of folk type things, not funk. Folk type things where people can kind of like jump in, you know what I mean, and play together, and you can kind of learn the song as you're going. Those seem so cool. Someday I want to go to all of these things, and I want to document and talk to people and have a fabulous time and have a drink at the bar when the band's playing and mosh. And I just have all of these ideas.
Someday, you know, maybe that will happen again.
I have some hope.
Someday in the future, something we can look forward to.
I know. It's just it's what a downer it's been, this whole like sit at home and not see your friends thing.
Yeah.
And like you can go to the bars right now. And I feel awful for the bars. Like I want to go to JP's and I want to go laugh at them as they sing karaoke badly. Mm-hmm. But I also just, I don't want to risk making someone sick, and I don't want to I also don't want to go and prevent like the college kids from going, which is kind of a funny mentality. But I've gotten to that point where I'm like, they have such limited capacity that if the UVM kids do go out, that like they might get told that only 3 of them can go in one bar. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't want to be that jerk who's just kind of like, this is boring and I'm just going to sit here all night because there's no people. Like, it's a really weird scene because I do want to support I want to go like have a drink, but I also don't want to, I don't know. I don't want to screw things up for anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like social? That's probably social anxiety. Like, oh, now it's just worse for everyone who already had it. Now you're sitting at home like, I'm scared to leave. I don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings.
It was nice in the summer when you could at least be outside, but now that it's getting cold out and cases are going up and everything's going to be indoors, it's going to be tricky.
Exactly. And in Vermont, we're doing so good that the last thing I want to do is get lazy and complacent.
Yeah.
And it can happen so quickly. And that's what we're finding out now because, gotta back up here. The CDC just changed the specification for exposure time, specifically due to a case in Vermont where the person was bringing food to people, I think, in the prison system that had COVID, and they never were exposed for as long as what the CDC was saying was exposure, and they got it. So, yeah, it stinks. Like, they had to change what they said, because I think they had originally said it was 15 minutes direct exposure. Now it's 15 minutes added up. Like, if you just happen to be near them like, you can just be near them for a minute and then leave, and then be near them for a minute and then leave, and you can still get it.
That makes sense. If someone breathes on you, it's not like the virus has a stopwatch and they're like, gotta wait 15 minutes to go in this person's nose.
Right, exactly. It's just amazing that, because the only reason we know that is because our contact tracing's so good in Vermont that we can say the only way this person could have gotten it is from doing the rounds at work. We're actually kind of helping the rest of the country, and I like that we're capable of doing that. Yeah. And the more cases we get, the more contract tracing capability goes down.
Yeah.
It gets harder and harder. So the more I sit at home and be a hermit and, wish I was at the bar drinking a beer and moshing, it's a good thing. It sucks. I would much rather be at the bar drinking my beer. But I just want us to pull through this. I don't want more people dead in Vermont.
Yeah.
I lost my grandfather this year. I'm going to tell this story on the show because I want people to understand this. People are suffering whether or not they have this virus. My grandfather didn't die of this virus, but guess what? I couldn't say goodbye to him. I want this shit gone. Because loads of other people are in the same boat I am. How many people, are scared to go see grandma right now?
Yeah, that's so rough. I'm so sorry.
He was a great man. He lived a very, very long time. Love my grandfather. It just sucks that he had to go at a time where we couldn't be there for him.
Yeah.
And the only reason we couldn't be there for him is because of the coronavirus. And none of this crap needed to happen. None of this crap needed to happen. This could have been prevented at the start.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get rid of it. I'm going to suffer for another year or so. But you know what? Hopefully that means that other people get to say goodbye to their grandparents.
Yeah.
We've got to support our community. And by not going out, I am supporting the community. And it sucks and I'm angry about it. But think about it. Don't get complacent, everybody. We got to think about it.
I work at the airport. Stop traveling. Going on vacation if it's not essential. I know you're not quarantining when you come back from Florida, okay?
Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't take the quarantining seriously. And that's what we need. Like, that's why we're so safe in Vermont. That's why we haven't seen thousands of people getting sick every day. Like, we're so blessed that we aren't losing family members. Like, listen to Meghan. Stay home. Play board games. Like, stop flying places unless you really, really need to.
Yeah. I think if they had closed the airports, even for a little bit, that would have helped. But
I know. Their attitude about this has been so wonky in so many ways. It's funny. And, whatever. I don't care if you like Donald Trump. I don't care. The man said Obama should resign as a president when 2 Americans died of Ebola. Over 230,000 people are dead of the coronavirus, and he claimed that he solved the pandemic. The White House released a statement last week that they solved the pandemic. And immediately after that, we are hitting the highest number of cases in a day, and we have more than 1,000 people every day dying now, and it's probably going to become sustained. I don't know about you, but I couldn't name 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm mad about it. Stay home. Stay home. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Think about my grandfather. Just be nice, Be nice to your neighbor. Don't be a douche. I will go on the record. Do not be a douche. And do not come and breathe on my neck in the store. I am getting so annoyed with a lot of women in particular not wearing masks. The 6-foot social distance thing is great. It's great. It really helps. And when you're not wearing a mask and you literally come and put your armpit in my face, I'm not okay with it right now. Like, back the fuck off, people. Seriously. And this is going to be Angry Becca's Corona episode because this is being recorded while we're still waiting for presidential election results, which is probably the most stressful time ever. Period, ever. This has been the most stressful election ever. So wear your mask. Keep Vermont healthy. Becca's rant is now over. And we're going to talk about Meghan some more. Okay, all right. So, snow day. Your shows. You couldn't do your shows. How did we even end up here? I'm trying to backtrack.
Don't even try.
Okay, all right. So moving forward, it's going to be awesome because this pandemic is going to go away eventually.
Yes.
In another year or so.
Yes. It's hopefully less. Hopefully under a year.
Hopefully.
We don't know, but they might have a vaccine, so.
And maybe by then you'll have released another album.
Oh, man. I was trying to write more songs during the quarantine, but I probably wrote about a dozen parts of songs, just not a full song.
Writing music is really weird. It's really hard. Sometimes I will sit down and I can write and write and write and I'm done. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I will think of 2 lines and then I will repeat them in my head 1,000 times. And go nowhere.
Yep. And then you'll come back to that line in a year and have an idea.
Right, exactly. Yeah, writing music is weird. And you very much have to be, in that mindset. Mm-hmm. And also, not only in the mindset, but I feel like music in particular, a lot of times is really, emotional, and you're in a mental state, and you're getting something out. And with the pandemic and all the crap going on, people are not feeling great. I don't even know what kind of emotion I want to express because I don't know what I'm feeling right now because it's just too much. So trying to write something that expresses anything is overwhelming.
Yeah. I don't find writing music relaxing. So I've been doing a lot of painting because that's more relaxing for me.
Right. It's very zen.
Yeah. I've tried to write music, but I don't know. You have to definitely be in the right state of mind to do that.
Right, yeah. And I feel like lyrics are so different than just music. Pure music, no lyrics involved.
Yeah.
Because I can, sit and jam and not... I guess I don't really compose it. If I was sitting there writing the notes down, it might be a lot different. But just, jamming and kind of writing music like that feels cathartic. That feels more like painting to me versus I'm gonna write a song and get my thoughts out.
Yeah.
That feels almost... Someone once compared it to giving birth. And it's kind of true because you're trying to form this concept from nothing. And sometimes it can be really hard and sometimes it can, be really liberating. And yeah, I don't know. Writing music is interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I'm going on random tangents. So let's talk about the songs on your EP because they're great. I'm trying to think of the one in particular that's so awesome that I know like half the words to. I can't sleep anymore.
Oh, Lucky.
Lucky.
Yeah, that's the single off that EP.
Yeah, tell me about Lucky because it's such a good song. Tell me what inspired it.
Oh man. So part of it, it's like Lucky was a mix between a song about anxiety and depression and dealing with that. And also, you get out of college, you go to college, you spend all this money on it, you're told you're going to get a good job when you get out. And the reality is for a lot of people, they might be working 2 or 3 minimum wage jobs or unpaid internships trying to get something that'll pan out.
Right,
like
to get your foot in the door, as they call it.
Yeah. It's just about the hopelessness that I felt, and I feel like a lot of people in my generation have felt about just kind of being in the real world and this time.
Doing everything you were supposed to do and finding out that there is no answer. There's no like magic. Like, oh yeah, I went to college. I did what I was told. I got good grades. And now look at me. I can't find the job that was supposed to be mine and so great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that our generation got fed so much crap when we were young. There's certain jobs that people thought that they were going to get. And I'm going to name a couple of them right now. Psychologist, criminal investigator, forensic analyst. You know how many people went into psychology and now can't find a job as a psych? Like you have this degree, and how useful is knowing the psychology of a person if you aren't high enough, Like, psychology is almost like being a doctor. Like, you've got to be...
You'd have to go back to school, get a master's or a doctorate or something.
Right. You basically have to do the whole career learning thing. And even then, it's like, okay, to become a real psychologist at that point, I think you still have to pass a whole bunch of exams and things. And apparently, I don't know if it still is, but I think when I was looking, and I know when my older sister went to school, it was like psychology was like 50% of incoming college students.
That was my minor.
Everybody studied psychology, and then when everyone has the degree, it's not so, no one's looking for you specifically because you're competing with like 100 other applicants with the same degree.
Well, now at least all these millennials, we can all understand our depression and anxiety.
Right. Like, it's just bizarre to think about like what we were taught and told. And I got pushed into stuff that I'm like, thank God I didn't do that. Like, what? Like, why did I think that was a good idea? And I'm so glad that I didn't like follow through with it.
I don't know. In my opinion, I think with the cost of college, unless you have like a specific career goal in mind that you need the degree for, it's almost worth not going.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. There's like really specific fields. Like, I want a doctor who went to school for being a good doctor. Like, that's a field that you need a degree in. There's a lot of fields you don't need a degree in. And it's this whole, like, the game, get your foot in the door. And all of a sudden, you've got a career. You just got your foot in the door and now you have a career. And it's totally weird. Like, I've heard all sorts of weird stories about like phlebotomy. I didn't know phlebotomy was a thing. And all of a sudden they're looking for phlebotomists everywhere. And it's a really weird program. You don't have to go to college. You could just go through this like I think it's 6 months. It might be a full year. And work with blood samples. Like that's a really cool career actually. And people who work at banking systems. You don't go to college to become a banker But if you get your foot in the door, like, you can have a really good job. Like, some people really, they figure it out and they've got it made. But a lot of us buy into the, I need to go to college and get the degree thing. And college is a great experience. I'm not saying it's not. But I think the experience versus the cost.
Yeah. I think, it's worth it for some people, but other people only go because they feel pressured to, and it's not worth it for them. And then they have all these student loans they have to pay off.
Yes, a lot of people go and they're like undecided for 2 years.
Yeah.
I can't imagine spending, because the amount you get charged every year. And I went to like a cheap school. Like VTC is not super expensive, but it was still over 20 grand a year. Like, I can't imagine spending $40,000 and having no idea where I'm going. Like, I really hope I can pay this off sometime eventually. Yeah. What a weird system. And you know what's crazy about all of this? The government ran ads in the 90s showing pictures of janitors saying, you don't want to be him. Go to college and take out huge loans and basically be owned by the government for the rest of your life because you have federal loans.
It's all a capitalist scam in this country. Other countries that subsidize education, you can go for free or you can go for a very reduced price. My sister went to school in Scotland, and I think it was less than a private school in the U.S.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Because I know people, like, born in Canada, and you go to school in Canada, I think it was like $4,000 or $5,000 a year at a good university.
Yeah.
And, California, they subsidize their education. New York subsidizes their education. If you're born in New York or become a citizen, you can go to SUNY for like nothing. Those guys pay nothing compared to what we pay in Vermont.
That's very good to know.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of sickening. I think, and this was a big deal when I was in school, and they've kind of shut up about it, but I think it's still true that we have the highest in-state tuition of any state in the nation. So if you go to a Vermont state school, you're paying out the butt for it. Mm-hmm. But if you live in Arkansas and you go to the University of Arkansas, you don't pay hardly anything compared to Vermonters. Like, what the hell is that about? Like, come on, UVM, get your shit together. I'm sorry, but you're charging Vermonters too much and then making them do way too many electives.
Yeah.
Get to the point.
I was just thinking, like, oh my God, what is this interview? How did we get here?
I know, it's fun. I'm very good at ranting and rambling, and I have a lot on my mind this week.
No, it's good. It's all good things to think about and talk about.
Maybe someone will actually send me some comments and call me an arsehole this time. No one ever comments on things, and I often wonder, I'm like, did anyone hear that? Because that was kind of racy that time. No, I don't know. I guess it's all good. Oh, man. Okay, so anything else? It's hard because I usually want to end it with, like, what's coming up for you? But I don't want to be like, what's coming up for you? And you'd be like, nothing.
Nothing. COVID ruined everything. My band, The Silent Mile, is recording next month. And I don't think we've really announced anything about that. But if you follow us on Facebook, at some point, we will be releasing news about new songs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. I haven't said what it's for or anything. It's exciting, though. I'm excited about it.
So where are you recording at?
Robot Dog.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That dog is so cool.
He is. Very cool.
He's like the cutest dog ever. I really like Robot. Ryan Cohen, yes. Yeah. He was a cool guy. Very chill dude to talk to. Very cool place, too. That's one of the things I love about this podcast is just the random people I've gotten to meet. And it's so cool. There's so many people. I'm going to end it on a positive note. I'm going to ramble about something else. There's so many people in Vermont doing so many cool things. And I guess because we're all kind of doing our own thing right now, we're kind of forgetting. Like, we have such cool things around us. Awesome things to do, awesome places to go, awesome bands to listen to. we have great culture here. And I know it stinks right now, but we can't let it die. Like, we've got to support bands and we've got to keep on helping them out and buy their merch, buy their music, pay attention to them, show them you love them. Because the worst thing we could do is just like ignore the Silent Mile, ignore Snow Day, ignore you guys, and have you think that we don't love you and have you stop making music for us. Because when all of this nonsense is over, I want to go and have some great Burlington concerts. Like, go chill.
Yeah. Everyone I know is so ready to go out to shows, to play shows. I think whenever this thing is all over, it's going to come back.
It's going to be a big party.
Yeah.
Like, Burlington's going to feel like it does on... I always think of Mardi Gras in Burlington. It's one of the funniest things that we have because it's so cold. Mm-hmm. And there's so many butts out everywhere on Mardi Gras night. Like, there's just butts everywhere. But everyone's having such a good time and so happy. And that's what it's going to be. All of this is going to eventually stop. And Phil Scott's going to say, you can take the masks off and you can go to the bar. And we're going to party like motherfuckers. It's going to be awesome. And we need to have like bands lined up and just celebrate everything that the musicians do, the restaurants do, the artists do. We're ready for it. We need to just plan the party. It's going to be like a real big shindig. And that's what we need to do, is just focus on the shindig. And stop thinking about all this time that we're not shindigging.
Yeah.
We're going to get there, and it's going to be amazing, and we're going to have fun. I'm so excited the Silent Mile's recording. Are you guys going to do any, like, video type things?
That would be cool. I don't think we've talked about that yet, but definitely could be a possibility.
I know Ryan's got people who do video.
We oh my God. We released a single earlier this year. I can't remember the date.
I feel like I've listened to this one. What's it called?
Set Me Free.
Yeah, I've definitely listened to that one.
We recorded it at Robot Dog, and we did the video for that there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I don't know anything else I need to rant about. I feel ranted out. Is there anything that you want to say? Or anything we didn't cover?
I just have a very important public service announcement, possibly more important than the COVID one we talked about, but birds are not real. The CIA murdered all the birds in the US and replaced them with spy drones, so just watch your backs.
This is a true fact. I'm going to also agree that birds aren't real. If you haven't seen it, there's a drone in China that looks exactly like a seagull.
I mean, have you seen the ones we have in the US?
I mean, they're everywhere.
Uncanny.
We are, of course, joking, but birds aren't real. And you should check this out because the actual drones that look like birds are kind of terrifying because they do look just like birds. And apparently China's just flying them around major cities, just surveying, which is alarming. But, they did it here, so birds aren't real. And just when that seagull's looking at you, just know that bird ain't real.
I'm really glad we were able to share that to all of your listeners. I think it's important for people to know.
Yes, I agree. If you could all please spread the message that birds aren't real. All of the other nonsense in the news is totally fake, but birds
fake news
aren't real. That is the truth.
The news will tell you that's fake too, but we know better.
But we know that the news is just lying about everything.
I feel like the more reputable companies have fact checkers and, they're more careful about that. But definitely, if you hear something crazy, definitely look up multiple sources.
Yes, do not just trust one source. Yeah, I don't trust any of them anymore. I have to check like 6 different sites, including like NPR, before I feel good. Because NPR, and I don't love NPR. I've had serious problems with NPR, like any other news source. But at least they fact check before they post anything. Like, they are very careful not to spread fake news. So, but I don't know if they're on the birds aren't real train. I might have to stop following them. They're lying to us, too.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Meghan, for coming on this show.
Thank you.
Birds aren't real. Have a great night. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the episode, and thank you to Meghan for coming on this show. The show notes for this episode will be at vermonttalks.com/21. Go find Meghan on Facebook under Snow Day or The Silent Mile. Reach out to me if you have any ideas or interest in being on the show. I always love to hear from people. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting app to stay up to date with the show. You can follow me on Facebook or a whole bunch of different social medias. And that was what was new in the 802. Have a great day. The Vermont Talks show music was created by Jason Baker. Thank you so much, Jason, for making the music. You can check out his website at jbakervt.com.